recipe to make homemade kombucha. Start by boiling 4 cups of chlorine-free water. If you've ever had kombucha from a grocery store, this will not taste the same. It tastes even better because you can control the sweetness and the flavoring. Once your water boils, you'll pour it over 4 to 6 teaspoons of loose tea or 4 to 6 tea bags. You can use black, green, white tea as long as it's caffeinated. Decaf won't work. Steep the tea for 8 to 15 minutes. For your first batch of kombucha, you'll need 1 to 2 cups of strong kombucha and a 5 to 6 inch SCOBY or mother. SCOBY stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast. Yum. It's a floating gelatinous blob that looks a little bit like an alien life form. You'll see one in a minute. You need to make sure that your hands are very clean so that you don't transfer any harmful bacteria to the SCOBY. Also, make sure that your utensils, rocks, bowls, etc. are very clean with no soap residue. I usually rinse my pot that the kombucha will stay in with white vinegar if I have to wash it. Do not use metal vessels. It's better to not even use metal utensils, but I've gotten lazy about that, as you can see. Just make sure that your kombucha isn't in contact with the metal for long. Once the tea is as dark as you'd like it, add 1 cup organic sugar and stir until it's all melted. Cool it to body temperature. If you mix hot tea into the kombucha, you can kill or shock the bacteria. I started making my own kombucha because I was advised that I should have something fermented every day to get good gut bacteria. Scientists have found that there are connecting vessels between the gut and the brain, and my brain needs all the help it can get. Make sure you don't drink too much kombucha at first. All those good gut bacteria can be too enthusiastic if you aren't used to them and can cause gastric distress. Here's my SCOBY Hotel in a 1-gallon jar. SCOBY will constantly grow new layers on top of the old. When the SCOBY gets too thick, you just pull or cut a layer off the top. You can use the rest of the SCOBY in recipes, mixed in with your compost pile, share with a friend, or put it in a waiting room, usually called a SCOBY hotel. Once it's in the hotel, you cover it with a tightly woven cloth and a rubber band to hold the cloth. Set it in a dark spot and feed it some sweet tea when the liquid level starts to get low. The cloth cover will keep fruit flies and dirt out while still allowing the SCOBYs to breathe. If you seal your bottle and don't leave breathing space, it's possible that the fermentation can build up and cause your bottle to break. Even if the bottle doesn't break, the SCOBYs will die once they've been sealed up too long. Every once in a while, when my hotel is full, I will put an ad on Craigslist or a yard sales board to advertise that I have free SCOBYs, and I give them away. You can see here that SCOBYs are sometimes hard to separate, and they have that brown color from marinating in tea so long. The ones on top are a nice pale ivory. You see, I've set aside my SCOBY and 2 cups of very strong kombucha. The longer it sits, the more sugar it converts, and eventually you get vinegar, which can be delicious if you like sour. Now here's my clean gallon jar. In it goes the cooled sweet tea, or pure water, the SCOBY, and kombucha. Make sure you leave some room at the top because the SCOBY will occasionally build up gases underneath and begin to poke out of the jar top. Just give it a poke back to release the gas and it'll be fine. Always check your SCOBY for mold. It's about the only thing that you have to worry about. Put the cloth and rubber band on and set it in a dark place for 7 days and then taste. If it's too sweet, then taste it again in 2 days. Repeat until you like the flavor. When it's to your taste, set aside 1 to 2 cups of kombucha and the SCOBY to start all over again. The rest is ready to drink or flavor. The more kombucha you save for the next batch, the faster it will be ready. Be careful if you tightly cap the kombucha. It will keep fermenting unless it is chilled. If you want more fizz and leave it out of the fridge, you should loosen the cap to let the gases out every couple of days. This is my continuous brewing 2-gallon crock. It's pretty much the same method as the single batch 1-gallon crock, except that every 10 days to 2 weeks, I pull off a full gallon of kombucha. That's what it looks like. I wish you could taste it. And that's a healthy looking SCOBY. You can use quart or pint jars to make several different flavors of kombucha from the same batch. I usually use a gallon container and put in some fruit-flavored herbal teas to change up the flavors. 6 to 8 tea bags will do the trick. And I just leave the tea bags in the jug until it's empty. Herbs like lavender, rosehip, elderberry flowers, ginger, and turmeric also make great flavorings. Don't flavor the kombucha you're going to start the new batch with, or your kombucha will all have that flavor for a long while. Now it's time to brew the quart of tea plus 1 cup of sugar and let it cool. And then fill the container with water and tea, leaving room at the top. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer best I can, or you can visit kombuchacamp.com. They have a ton of information and good ingredients and materials for sale. I'll put my affiliate link in my bio. There we go, all tucked in for another 10 days.